Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Melissa and this is Melissa Knits for Fun. Well, today I don't have any finished objects. I've got a bunch of whips, including a new cast on because, you know, who can get something off their needles and not immediately cast something else on? I have a few acquisitions. Not everything is yarn though. And then I have a question for y'all about a color match. And I need your opinion about what you think I should do. So I will cover that first when we get to the acquisitions. So if acquisitions aren't your thing, you can see the color match that I need help with, and then you can just, stop watching from there. And you don't have to wait until the very end and sit through something that you do not care about. All right, let's get started with what I'm wearing. And this is the very first Tolsta Tee that I ever knit. And I currently have 5 of them and a 6th one that I will be talking about in a minute as one of my whips. And I have plans for 2 more. I love this pattern. I mean, obviously, I say all the time I don't really knit things twice. Now I just say it takes a special pattern for me to knit something more than once. This is a super special pattern. This is my go-to t-shirt in the summer. I grab one of these Tolsta Tees and I throw it on and I am out the door with shorts, with jeans. It does not matter. Flip-flops, dressier shoes. I can dress it up. I can dress it down. I just absolutely love this pattern. It fits so well and you can modify it so many different ways. This one has the thin stripes. I have one with thick stripes. I have a couple that are solid colors in the DK weight, one with bust darts, one without. I use different needle sizes on them because I wanted a different fabric. And then I have a 4-ply as well. So with all of that being said, I love this pattern. All right. And this is the Tolsta Tee by Rebecca Clow or the Crayabea. Now, starting off, let's go ahead and talk about my new cast on. Guys, I literally just cast this on Monday night. That is how fast of a knit this is. I did all of this. No, I'm lying. I did all of this from Sunday night, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure this is Sunday night. I don't think I cast this on Monday night. But I did cast it on one night, about an hour or 2 before I went to bed, and I was able to get the back done and pick up one of the shoulders. And then Monday night, I was able to get that shoulder done, the other shoulder done, and yesterday, I was able to pick up the sleeve stitches, and then today I knit on it a little bit. I was up at 4 o'clock this morning, so I just went ahead and finished off the ball, or at least most of the balls, so that I could bring it in here without having that on there. Now, y'all may be going, well, what is this new cast on you're talking about? And this is the Arrow Tee by Odd Row. And y'all may be going, wait a minute, just last week you said you were doing that in this pink yarn. Well, yes, I did. And that pink yarn says it's a DK, but it's more like a sport. I could not get gauge on it. And I remembered that I had this beautiful dark blue, and it is such a classic, classy pattern that I felt like it needed a little classier yarn as well, to quote my friend Sue from the yarn shop, that, really I needed a classier looking yarn than the pink. Now, if I could have gotten gauge, I probably would have gone with the pink anyway, but I couldn't. I did get gauge with this, and it's got a little bit of nylon in it, or polyamide, so it is a little bit stretchier than you would expect from a cotton. It is an 88% cotton, 12% polyamide. So since this is negative ease, I think that this yarn will be better for it as well. And this is the Lana Grossa 365 cotton. And it is a discontinued yarn. I bought this earlier this year from somebody's stash. Well, let me tell you, this is some really nice yarn. I'm very disappointed that Lana Grossa has discontinued this. So I have been looking at stashes on Ravelry, and I found a couple of colors I really like. And I may be pinging some people going, hey, would you be interested in selling your stash? Really nice yarn, but I do want to get this done and wear it and see how it wears in the summer before I commit to buying more colors. They all say that they're not for sale, so I don't think that, well, they obviously could sell it, but we'll see. But this, so far, I will tell you, and this is, I think, a lost in translation type of thing. There are 3 of us doing a buddy knit on this. Leah from Ruby and Pearls, myself, and, oh, I feel horrible. I have just drawn a blank on the other lady's name. I will put it down here. And I believe that she has a podcast as well, which I'll find out. But the 3 of us are doing this, and she posted last night, and she was like, or early this morning, how did you pick up those sleeves? What does this say? Because what the pattern says is knit to one, what is it? It says knit to one stitch. So I don't remember. The designer apparently is, well, she's, I don't know if she's German or Danish. The website has DK at the end. And the pattern is in English, Danish, and Dutch. Right? Maybe the Danish word for German. Anyway, whatever it is. It's in 3 languages. One of them being English, but the translation, ooh, I mean, I went and looked at Leah's notes. I was like, and all she said was I knit it directly, to the specs of the pattern. And I've gone and looked at other people's notes, and I didn't see any notes in there going, this was a little confusing to me. This is what that means. And so I was glad whenever I got the ping this morning asking how I had picked it up, because I wasn't the only one that was a little confused. But it really is a language thing. This is where I really think that designers who are going to do a pattern in English, they should have some native English speakers as part of their test group. They may very well have some. I don't know. I've applied for several of the Danish designers test knits, and I've never gotten any of them. So I have no idea if they have native English speakers or not. But if they do, then they did not have the problems that I did with reading this. And I only speak 1 language. Leah is bilingual. She speaks German and English. The other lady in there speaks multiple languages. Multiple. I think she speaks Danish and German and English and something. And I was like, oh, I only speak English, and I don't speak proper English. I speak Southern U.S. English. So that's the only language that I speak. That's what you get. And I have very, very, very little Spanish. I can say hello and how are you, and very, 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 very little teeny tiny bits of Spanish. So I am definitely not bilingual, much to the chagrin of my French and Spanish teachers from when I was younger. All right, back to this sweater. It's just working up really fast. It's really nice. I'm really excited. Now, what I'm not loving is, and I say all the time that I don't mind purling, and I really don't mind purling, and I don't mind that much knitting flat. But when I first saw this sweater, now I have to say, I knew because Leah talked about it in her podcast, but I don't think that I quite understood when Leah was like, oh yeah, you knit it flat until you get all the way down here before you join. This is almost like doing a cardigan flat, and then you eventually join, and then you have to pick up all these stitches and do ribbing. But it is very, very fast. I'm looking forward to it, and I cannot wait to wear this. And this, I think I'm going to take this with me to Philly. All of this stuff is going to my brother's, but part of it is going to stay at my brother's house while I go to Philly. And then I'll come back to my brother's house, and then obviously I'll get it all and take it home, because I'm going to be there for several days before I head to Philly. But I'm going to take this because this is just easy stockinette stitch. Don't really have to worry about it. I'm doing some increases and stuff, but there's not anything complicated to this. All right, moving along. This one will not be going to Philly with me. This is the other buddy knit that I have going with Leah. And she is further than I am. She's got a sleeve. She's working on the other sleeve, and she's got her collar done. This is the Nia sweater by Irene Lynn. And I'm trying to find, yeah, that's the front. I got finished with a ball of yarn, And so I stopped. I did the collar. I did wind up doing a folded collar. I wasn't sure I was going to because I really like the look of the non-folded collar, but it just didn't have enough structure. This is a heavy enough yarn. It just didn't look right. So I went ahead and did a folded collar. And then I have, there's what, 32 times 3 is 96. There's 96 rows, and I am on row 42, I think it is. So I'm not quite halfway there, but I'm going to get this sleeve done, then I'll do the other sleeve. I don't know that I'm going to get both sleeves out of this one little ball of yarn. And this is, like I said, Nia by Irene Lynn, and this is the Durarum Natura Gilead in the color Confiture Rose. And I'm really not sure what color that, I think it's just navy, the other one that I did. But that, the Confiture de Rose in French means rose jam. So this is my rose jam sweater. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish knitting this sleeve. I'm going to knit the other sleeve. I have 2 more balls besides this. And it does go way further than you expect it to. It's a worsted weight yarn, but it's got quite a bit of yardage on it. So I am going to then go back to the body, and I'm just going to knit until either it is as long as I want it to be, or I run out of yarn. And then I will assess if I can live with the length or if I need to order another ball. I can order another ball from Wool & Company with no problem. I mean, it won't be the same dye lot, but it should be close enough. Not a whole lot to say about it. It's a really easy pattern. It's not been hard to follow at all. But the lace is not super intuitive. I have to look. You do, like in any lace, right? You do a row where you do like the yarn overs and the knit 2 togethers and the slip knits and all that, right? You do the lace pattern on one row. And then the next row, you're just knitting the knits, purling the pearls. So you're just knitting through all of that lace pattern. And that I can do with no problem. That's easy. But whenever I'm doing the lace part, I cannot memorize it. I have to look every single time. And now on the body, because there's 4 sections of the lace, I can usually, after the first 1 or 2, I can do those without looking. But on the sleeve, I'm just doing it once. So I have to look every single time. So it's not a super easy pattern to memorize. But it is a super fun pattern, and it is working up like a dream, and it's really, really quick. I've only been working on this for a couple of weeks, along with everything else I'm working on. So I've been really excited about that. All right. This may be off my needles in the next couple of weeks. We'll see. Now, one that I'm hoping that when I get back from Philadelphia, so it won't be next week because I'm going to do probably my favorite podcast episode. There's been a few things that people have given me feedback on, and I am going to do some special episodes, some pattern roundups and stuff like that. But in place of next week's episode, I think it's going to be my favorite podcast. If it's not, it's going to be a review about my whole scarn. But it will probably most likely be the podcast. But this, hopefully on the next regular episode, which will be after I get back from Philly, hopefully this will be off my needles. Guys, it is so close. The body's a little bit more than halfway done. And this is a Tolsta Tee by Rebecca Clow, or the Crayabea, and I am using, this is the 4-ply, so this is the fingering weight, and I'm using the Universal Yarns Bamboo Pop Sock in the colorway Valentine. Absolutely love this color. And it is so soft, so incredibly soft. So I'm very excited to get to wear this. We'll see. We'll see if I can get this done while I'm in Philly. All right. Not a lot to say about it. I've told you how much I love the pattern. It's just, but it's fingering weight, so it's taking a little bit longer. All right. And my little, I think I showed these last week. Or no, I'm not sure I did. I had some different little penguins. I have other little baby penguins this week. Tried to bring different stitch markers in. And then on this other one that I forgot to show you, my stitch markers are little pandas. Aren't those adorable? So, I've got pandas, I've got penguins. They're not all animals, but I think the other one is too. So yeah, I've got mainly animals, but I do have one that's not, and that's this one that I'm fixing to show you, which is another buddy knit. So the Tolsta Tee, or the Tolsta Tee is not a buddy knit, but it is part of a knit along that I'm hosting for my channel. So I am knitting with a whole bunch of other people. And then this here is my buddy knit with my friend Ginger. And we were in the yarn shop. She was knitting up the worsted weight long sleeve version of this. And this is another Rebecca Clow pattern. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to buddy knit that. I want to knit that so bad. And I remembered that I had this 4-ply cotton from Bendigo Woolen Mills that I had designated for the Staffin Lite. This is the Staffin Lite by Rebecca Clow. And I wanted to go ahead and cast that on, and this is in the fingering weight. She does have a DK weight as well. And I am just knitting away. Last week I think I had the Estonian buttons done. I may have had the diamond done. But anyway, I got all of the ribbing done and the Estonian buttons, and I've started the diamond pattern again. So this is about halfway done. I suspect in the next 2 to 3 weeks I'll have it done, and plenty of time to wear it this summer. And I am using the Bendigo Woolen Mills 4-ply cotton in the colorway Cranberry Juice. And Bendigo Woolen Mills is an Australian company. They are not shipping to the US right now. And for stitch stoppers, I'm using these pretty little stitch stoppers that have some flowers on them. And these were given to me by my dear, dear friend Henrietta. She is one of the ladies that, like Jordan, has kind of taken me under her wing and been a mom figure for me since my mom passed away about 20 years ago. So I had been missing that in my life, and Jordan and Henrietta have helped fill that. So just knitting right along with this. Poor Ginger, Ginger is focusing on something else, so I will for sure, well, maybe not for sure, but I will most likely get this done before Ginger will get hers done. All right. Now, I have 2 more things before we do switch over to acquisitions. One of them, and I want to save this one for last, the one that I restarted for my brother. I haven't made a ton of progress on it, and you can see I am still having some of the cabling. It's not near as bad, but I am still having some of the cabling. Alan's just going to have to deal with it. But I stopped here because I do need to go measure this on him and make sure that it's not too big. And because if it is, then I'm going to go back and finish it on the smaller needles. That's another reason I haven't pulled that out yet. It's sitting right there. So I've gotten a little bit more done. I think last week I'd gotten the first one done, and now I've got the second cable done. And so it'll go really fast. I'm knitting this up on a size 9 needle. And this is the Scottish Ale by Wise Owl Knits. And I'm knitting it out of the Cascade Ecological Wool in the colorway Ebony. Now, they call this a bulky weight, and it is one of those, I think it's more like a worsted or an Aran, but I do think, well, and I know I got a nice gauge out of it with size 9s. This is a 20 stitch gauge in the moss stitch, and on the size 8s, I was at 21 or 22. This is a 20 inch. So, not a whole lot to say about this. I'm going down there. I'll measure it against my brother, make sure it's not going to be too big, and then I'll go from there. So I'll take both of them down there just in case I need to work on the other one instead of this one. And then, the thing that I'm probably most proud of, and I spent several days last week and this weekend, working on this, trying to really make some progress, because I am going to be the last one finished in my buddy knit. So yes, another buddy knit, and this is the Book Club Raglan by Sari Nordland, and I am knitting this with Chelsea from Sunday Knitting Society and 2 of my viewers, which are Melissa and Chris. And Chris has hers blocked. Chelsea's been done with hers. She took it with her on her Grocery Girls cruise, which she just did a podcast about that. And now I want to go on a knitting cruise. She made it seem like it was so much fun. So be sure to go and check that out. But she wore hers on the Grocery Girls cruise, and Chris has hers on the blocking mats right now, and Melissa is much further along than I am. So I really tried to focus on it this week. All of the other ones that I have seen, they have 5, maybe 6 of these center cables, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My days of wearing a belly-bearing shirt are long past. So I will continue to knit. I think I'm going to have 7. Obviously, my row gauge is off, but that is fine. It is absolutely beautiful. I love, 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 love this and cannot wait to get it off the needles. It is just stunning, and look at that stitch definition. And the yarn that I'm using is this cone of merino yarn that I got from Woolly Yarn, which is a dead stock company, so there is no more of it. But it is the name of the color was Demitoss. And I have looked, I haven't found anything this exact color on their website, but they do have some very beautiful yarns. And I will get all of it out of this and have some left over because I bought 700 grams. So I have plenty. And then that is the last thing that I've been working on. And these little guys, these are the little penguins I showed y'all last week. So these are repeats from last week. So I have 2 different little penguins. And this one, I am really hoping to get this done by the start of fall so that I can wear it fairly soon. So I'm hoping if I get it off the needles in the sometime in September, maybe the 1st of October, I will be very, very happy. I'd like to get it off the needles before the end because I feel bad, you know, bringing up the rear of the buddy knit. It's, you know, but it is what it is. And that's just a lot of work, but it is so beautiful and it's such a nice knit. Again, that one won't go to Philly with me. All right, so that's what I've been working on. Let me get untangled here because my yarn has decided to attack me. But that's what I've been working on this week. And, you know, a lot of people say, oh my gosh, I don't know how you get all of that done. Well, I have things, I make myself weekly goals. On my book club Raglan, I wanted to get, I think that I was at I was either at 3.5 or 4 center cables. I wanted to get 5 done so that I could measure. So I focused on that and primarily just monogamously knit this until I got that goal done. And then on this, I wanted to make sure that I finished my ribbing and my Estonian buttons and started on my diamond. And so I did that. This is my meeting knit. I don't have any specified goal for this. I just pick it up whenever I'm in meetings. And guys, today I was in back-to-back meetings all day long. Lots of knitting got done on this. But I just pick this up whenever I'm in meetings because I don't have to look if I'm just stockinette knitting. So this is my meeting pattern. So I don't have necessarily a goal for this. And then this one, my goal was to finish out that ball of yarn, get a collar on it, and at least start my sleeve. And I have met that goal. And again, I primarily knitted on that until I got that done. I knitted on it a little bit more today. And then my brothers, I wanted to finish up that second cable. And so I did that, and I just spread that out throughout the week because I knew that wouldn't take me too terribly long. And then finally, with this one, I wanted to get it cast on. Really, I thought that's all I was going to do was get it cast on. Well, then as I started knitting it, and it was really easy to knit, and it worked up fast and everything, I decided I wanted to finish a ball of yarn. And so I knit on it until I did that. All right. And guys, I am beta testing a new app that Sherry from Good Knits is working on, and it has been a lot of fun. She's got different counters in there. I really love the fact I can do like a counter that says there's this many rows in a repeat, and I do this many repeats, and it keeps track of it. And so I'm able to open that up and see exactly where I'm at. It'll also keep track of total rows for those if I need it to. So it's been really nice beta testing that. That's been a lot of fun. And now switching over to my acquisitions, and I do have a fair number of acquisitions this week. But here is my dilemma and my question. I showed y'all last week I want to use this yarn for the Odd Row Arrow sweater. And it is held, it's a sport weight, which is what Drops Alpaca is. This Drops Alpaca is sport weight. And she holds it with fluff. Well, I wanted to use a alpaca suri and silk fluff. So I ordered some set suri. Now, this is where I hate ordering things online, because you cannot see the color. It is called dark purple, and it looked dark purple. My other choice was eggplant, which looked, it looked like it was going to be too, I don't know how to describe it, but it wasn't going to be a good match, I didn't think. So I thought this one was going to be the best match. Guys, this is dark purple. That just does not look purple to me. That looks blue. And so I don't know. I don't think those are going to go together. I just don't think that's going to go well together. So I shared with y'all also last week that I have this mohair right here on a cone. And look at how well that goes together. So my question is, do you think I should swatch these two together and see what I think about the fabric? Or should I just say, you know what, I'll find something else to wear with this? Because I actually do like the color. It's kind of a periwinkle in my opinion. I do kind of like the color. And I think that it would be pretty, you know, held with something else. But I'm just not sure that this is the one that I should hold it with. But do you think I should swatch with it? Because mohair and alpaca just makes my nose itch so bad. But sometimes you don't know, right? Because I would have never put that green variegated with black like Melanie recommended, or even the hot pink, and I was shocked at how good it went. So should I swatch these and see what fabric I get, see if I like it, or should I just say, nope, I should just use that mohair? Let me know what you think. These two were not acquisitions this week. I already had those in my stash. This was an acquisition, and I did get enough to hold for a complete sweater. And this is the Lana Grossa Set Suri, and it is called Dark Purple. And it is it's a mohair alternative. It's 69% Suri alpaca and 31% silk. It's very, very nice. It is very, very nice, and I do want to knit out of this for sure, for sure. Now, the other things that I got as part of that little knits. Well, I don't know what I did with it. Apparently, I did not bring a ball of yarn in here. As part of this order, I also got some white. It's actually called linen. So it's kind of a creamy white of the Shetland Lite, so that I could use that with some of the other Shetland wools that I got for color work. And then, because I needed to go just a few dollars, I was just a few dollars shy of getting free shipping, I threw this in. This is the Lana Grossa, it is Super Kid Setta, and this is supposed to be like a worsted weight, and it is thicker, right? That is a thicker than a lace weight, but it says it's a worsted weight. I don't know that it's a worsted weight. I don't believe that. But I don't love it. I don't like the color. So the colors are very off from what they show, and I just don't love it. So this, I will probably de-stash this because I don't care anything about this yarn. I just bought it to see, and because I wanted free shipping. It's nice, don't get me wrong. It's a mohair, it's a thicker mohair, but I just think the color is too muted. And this was supposed to be wine. So if this is wine, I don't think that I would want any of the other colors either. All right, and then I told you that I won a gift card as part of the, what's it called? The Winter Soul Knit Along that I was in. And as part of that, I got a gift card to this store called Korea Cat. And she has her own yarns. This is the Lulu Knits. And this is Fluff Fine. And I got 3 different colors. I'll be honest, I kind of wish I'd gotten the blue that was more of an electric blue. But I do kind of like this green. I was expecting it to be a little bit more green. But I just got to find something in my stash to hold it with. But this color is beautiful. And this red is gorgeous. This reminds me a bit of Holzgarn Lucia. Now, this is just alpaca and silk. It's a 70% alpaca, 30% silk. And I did actually look. I don't think those go together either, but maybe. I mean, that I think looks better than the periwinkle, but I'm not sure. And they do make alpaca in this color, like the sport alpaca, but I'd have to order that because I don't have a sweater quantity of it. So, I got those 3 colors in that. All of them sweater quantity. Everything I buy is sweater quantity. And I usually buy enough to where I can do cables if I want to, because I want to make sure that I have enough to do whatever I want to. And then I wanted to see what the Majo Garn yarn was all about. And I got this. Isn't this pretty? I may have to have this color. But this is the mohair. Reminds me a whole lot of Knitting for Olive mohair. But, oh, this Puno Fine. Woo, and this is a blown yarn, and I really like it. It is, the colorway is Sapphire, and it is, I'm trying to see what it is 39% baby alpaca, 7% fine merino wool, and 54% cotton. And the thread there is dark. So I just love the depth of color in this, and they do have a mohair that matches as well, but I think I'm going to have to buy a sweater quantity of this Puno Fine in this color. I mean, look at that. It reminds me a lot of Blue Tit. So I will probably wind up with some of this. And I'll wind up with some of this. This is really pretty, and I think I could probably hold it with that and do a marl. All right, so I got those just to see the colors and to feel what the yarn feels like before I try to order anything. All right, and these are very hard. Majo Garn is very, very hard to find in the United States, but they do have like a $20 flat rate shipping from the company itself. So if I ordered, that's probably where. Now, for my acquisitions from Letha's shop, because all of this came from Letha's, this bag I did not pay for. Letha was kind enough to make it for me. I had a whole bunch of fabric in my stash that I just realized I'm not really interested in sewing. I went through my little heyday where I made some bags and stuff, but I'm just not really interested in sewing. I just want to knit. So I gifted all of my fabric to Letha, and she kindly made me a bag. And I love this thing. It's got the little strap. It's got a zipper. Mine did not have zippers. I love the inside fabric that she used, and it's got pockets. Mine didn't have pockets either whenever I was making things. So, yeah. Now, she got in, I bought another ball of the Merino 220 Superwash for Dallon's sweater, his zipper light sweater. And I'm buying these a little, like one here and there until I get enough. And then, but she did order some Holst Garn. And so I got some of the Titicaca. I needed another ball of the Galaxy so that I can make something holding it with that again. And then I bought 2 more. I already have one of these in my stash, and I'm trying to see if you can see. You can't, but it's right back there, that I have some super soft wool that I will hold this with to make something out of. So I went ahead and grabbed those. I have 3 will make me a sweater. All right, because these are 100% alpaca and they're lace. They're the equivalent of Filcolana Alva or Isayer Alpaca 1. The yardage and everything is the same. They're all 100% alpaca. And this is 400 meters per 50 grams. So 1,200 meters in 3 balls. That is plenty. All right, so that's all that was in this bag. But then I went up on Saturday. That was Thursday. Then I went up on Saturday and I saw this bag, and I had to buy this bag. Look at this bag. I love this fabric. This fabric is beautiful. This is not a fabric I gifted her. This fabric is gorgeous. And I decided that I would get a few yarns to play with. Okay. So there is a new pattern out by Knitting for Breakfast that I bought, and I will post that up here. I forget the name of it, but it's a beautiful color work. And I decided I was going to do these. She does a blue as her main color and then like a white and a black. I'm going to do the green as the main color and then do the blue and the cream as the contrast colors. So I bought one of each of those so that I could like look at them and maybe cast on, maybe not. I will buy the rest of it, but I was just wanting to get a feel and maybe do a little bit of swatching. And then I bought, I don't know why I only grabbed one of these, but I did only grab one of these. I need to grab some others. I don't remember why I only grabbed one, but I am going to make something. I've got to figure out a plan for this. I want to make a sweater, you know, a t-shirt out of this, and I just need to figure out what I'm doing. And then this, there is a pattern, Herb Garden. She put out a new t-shirt pattern, and it is free right now. She's hosting a cow. Now I'm going to tell you, I think she's pretty smart, because I think what she's actually doing is trying to get a large variety of test knitters. And she is giving the pattern out for free, and she has said that anybody who posts a Ravelry project with, I think, at least 2 pictures, I think it is, on their project by the end of the cow will get a code for a free pattern. I thought that was pretty smart. I think she struggled a little bit to get some test knitters. And I know that she has been featured on Ruth Loves to Knit podcast as one of the designers that had a discount and stuff. And I bought one of her patterns. She's got some really pretty patterns. But I bought this. I think I'm going to knit that out of it. This is one of the recommended yarns. This is the Tin Lena. And I just really like this matcha color. I think this color probably looks good on pretty much everyone. So I am going to wind up with a top amount of this. I just grabbed one though, just to think about it. All right. And then finally, and this one, I did buy the yarn because I paid her back, but this was acquired for me by Gina, or midwife Gina. And she is of I Knit and I Know Things podcast. She had bought some of this and made a Tolsta Tee out of it, and it was on sale at her yarn shop. And she grabbed this when she was in there and was like, hey, you know, I bought it with you in mind, but you know, you don't have to get it, but what do you think? Do you want this? And I said yes. So I am going to make, there is a pattern coming out. I thought it was a test knit that was going to be a test call, but I haven't seen it. I think it may be a pattern that's going to be released soon that calls for this yarn. And so I'm keeping my eye out. And then if I don't, I have a backup pattern that I will do. But I think that I'm going to try to do that new pattern in this because it is the called for yarn. And this is the Lane Denord Soft Lino. And it was on a almost 50% off sale. It was a nice sale. So I have that as well. And then that is it. I didn't completely lose my mind, except for I do have a couple more coming. Knit Picks had their 246 sale. I did very good though. I did not buy enough to get free shipping. I did not fall into that trap of throwing more stuff in there. I got a couple of sweater quantities. One is palette in this beautiful wine color, and one is it's gloss lace. So I'm going to hold those double, but it's a merino silk, and I'm going to hold those double. And so I got enough to make a sweater out of that. And then I did order some more whole scarn tides because it is being discontinued and it's one of my favorite yarns. So I went ahead. I know last time that I just ordered a couple of balls of this because I have a small bit of a cone left. I went ahead and bought another whole cone because I love this yarn and I love this color, and I have a sweater out of it already, and I wouldn't mind having more. So I did go ahead and buy another cone of that, and that will be here soon. And then in Philadelphia, I think I am going to have time to make it over to Kelborn Woolens. So I am leaving some space in my suitcase. And I would like to connect with them as a content creator and just let them know and get myself on their radar. But yeah, think I'm going to have to buy some stuff. We'll see. I am looking forward to being able to go and see all of the colors in all of the lines. I like that. So I'm very excited about that. And with that, guys, I don't have anything else. Life has been fairly boring. I'm just getting ready to go to Philly and go down to my brother's. So I'm doing laundry and packing and doing all of those things. And I'm fixing to record the episode for next week so that I can edit it while I'm gone and I won't have so much stress trying to record and edit when I get back. And somebody did ask, well, why don't you just wait? Why don't you just skip this week? Well, I would do that if I were already a big established channel. I am very thankful. I'm at 2,100 subscribers, which is huge because I was so afraid at the beginning of this, and next month will be a year since I've been doing this. I was so afraid that I would not get any viewers, that, you know, I would never make it. I wouldn't have any interest, that nobody would like me, right? I was, at the beginning, I was really in that, you know, nobody loves me, everybody hates me, I'm going to eat some worms kind of situation, where I was so afraid that, you know, it was just going to validate that I really wasn't as likable as I thought. Well, thank y'all all for validating that I am. 2,100 of you have decided to hit subscribe. And if you are new to this channel, or even if you're not new and you've been watching for a while and you just didn't hit that subscribe button, please go ahead and do that, because it is a great way to support my channel and it costs you nothing to hit that button. And go ahead and give me a thumbs up, a like, if you did in fact enjoy this episode. But all of that was to say that the reason I'm not going to skip it is because YouTube likes consistency. And I schedule my podcast to be released every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. And I have finally, the algorithm gods are smiling on me and they are putting my content in front of more people because of the consistency, because of constantly being, you know, 7 a.m. on a Saturday, more people finding me. And I just don't want to, you know, anger the algorithm gods by not having an episode. So I am going to record a couple of episodes right now. One of them I will release next Saturday. The other one I will release as like a midweek thing. And I'll do some more of those because I do want to do some of the things. One of the ones that I'm going to do is talking about United States yarns. Right. And when somebody suggested that, and I kind of went down the rabbit hole a little bit, there are mills in the U.S. that take the fleece and turn it into yarn. And some of them mill for other companies. Some of them mill for just themselves. But pretty much all of the mills sell their own yarn, in addition to possibly milling for other people. And then there are companies like Cascade and Knit Picks that they are U.S. companies, especially Cascade is a U.S. company, but they source their yarn from other countries. Like most of theirs comes from Peru. So, and then Knit Picks does have some American sheep, right? So I'm going to do a U.S. yarn video, and I will break it up with like U.S. mills. So these are places that they may grow their own sheep, right? Or yes, you don't grow them like you plant them, but they may raise their own sheep and then spin their fleece, or they may get the fleece from somewhere else and then spin it. But it's all American sheep. So everything's done here in the United States. And then I'm also going to have the ones, like I said, like Cascade, like Knit Picks, that are American companies, but they source their yarn from other places. They don't make their own yarn. They may dye their own yarn. Knit Picks, I don't know that they dye their own yarn. I think Cascade does, or at least Cascade says what colors. But I'm going to do some more research. So that one will be a little ways off. I can't just off the cuff do that one because it's going to require some research. Because when I went and Googled, whoa, there's a lot of really great resources out there, and there's no way I would be able to cover every single mill because there's a lot of really small mills. But I'll give you tips and tricks on how to find those small mills as well. So I'm really, really looking forward to getting back and doing some research on that and doing that video as well. And then I'll do some of the other ones. Y'all had some really, really great ideas. So I will be doing those, and I'll release those as like little, you know, midweek things. Not every single week, but those will be like little treats that I'll put out there. All right. I said that was it a little while ago, and as y'all know, I can't help myself. I just really enjoy talking to y'all. I am so happy about the community that we've built here. And I say we because I could not have done it by myself, right? Y'all have been so engaging with me, and we have that chat going. If you are interested in joining the chat, it is going to stay after the Tolsta Cal. The Cal ends the end of June. So we've only got a couple more weeks of the Cal, and then I will, if I can, I'm not positive I can with the with Instagram, but I think I can change the name of the chat, and I will just change it. We'll figure out what we're going to call it. But I'm going to keep the chat open because we've built this really great community where people are sharing projects, they're sharing, you know, they're asking for help, they're sharing when somebody does a test call, they're sharing if a yarn company has a sale. I mean, all of the things that you would do if you were part of a local knitting community. And there are a lot of people out there that are not blessed enough to have a local yarn store or a place to go and have a local knitting community, a local yarn group or knitting group. So I have been more than happy to provide that space because I am a hugely social creature and I love all of that. My friends that are watching this that know me in person that are not hugely social creatures are laughing, going, yes, you're my buffer. I put you between other people so I don't have to talk. I'll never forget when we went, and this will be the last story and then I really will stop talking. But when we went on a cruise, we had a cruise booked for a girls' trip. It's me and Teresa and Michelle. And Michelle at the last minute had to back out because they were in the process of moving houses, and that was going to be the week that they needed to move. And she did not want to make Jason move, you know, everything by himself, although he said he would, right? But she didn't feel right about that. So she did talk to us. She was like, hey, are y'all going to be upset? We were like, no, it's fine. So Teresa and I went alone. And we were sitting there eating. I don't remember if it was breakfast or lunch one day. And she looked at me and she was like, could you just please stop talking? I just need a few minutes of quiet. She said, it's not so bad when we have the girls' trip and it's me, you, and Michelle, because you don't just talk to me. You also talk to Michelle. And she's like, I just need a little bit of peace and quiet, please. So, you know, people put other people in between me and them as a buffer too, because I am the talkative one. All right. So I will let y'all go until I see y'all next week. And like I said, it won't be a regular podcast. So there should be a lot of stuff, a lot of progress made in the next 2 weeks. But there will be a podcast probably about the podcast that I am watching. And until I see y'all again, have a fantastic knitty week.